Today, I have found my newest obsession. Let me insert my Pinterest board of inspiration. I've been seeing shirts like these everywhere. Sezane is a really big brand that has them, Reformation, a store down the block from where I live, and what these places all have in common, besides the fact that I love everything they sell, these shirts are like $130, which maybe that's in your price range, but it sure is not in mine. So today we are going to knit our own budget version of these super fun, super stylish, chic summer shirts. So grab a bev and welcome back to the Knits by Lillian podcast. Okay, so do y'all want the good news or the bad news first? I'll just give you the good news. I think I have a yarn in stash that's gonna work really well for this. The bad news, it's in the middle of a project we have to unravel. So if you've been watching my podcast before, here's a sneak peek. Do we love the color? I think we do. I cast on the Esther sweater months ago, and I love it. I think the pattern is so pretty. Pause for a traffic jam. Get out of here. Be gone, ma'am. However, OMG. I gotta get the yarn out of here. Okay, so let me rewind. I think this yarn was the wrong choice for this pattern. I used a bamboo cotton wool blend because I wanted it to have a little bit more breathability with all the color work, but it ended up having gaps. You can see where you're catching the floats. Okay, you can't as much on camera, but the yarn that they initially did it with the scalpel yarn, has much more fluff, and the stitches look a lot more filled in, and I think it makes the color work look better, cleaner. So as much as I've put a lot of time into this, I don't think I'm gonna wear it if I do finish it. So this is her final hurrah. I mean, I've got most of this bad boy done. I've got sleeves, it's done bottom up, I've got the whole body done, and I've attached everything, and I'm doing the raglan decreases going upward. So it's gonna cause me some pain in here to eliminate this from my whip stack, but it's been living in an Aldi bag under my bed for months, so I don't think I'm gonna be that heartbroken. Here is the yarn we're looking for. I think it's gonna be good. It's like a worsted weight bamboo cotton. I'll find out the details. I think it's blue sky fibers, but I'm gonna start unraveling this and then I'll report back. So wish me luck. Okay, it's been, I don't have a watch on. It's been an hour and a half, 2 hours, hour and a half. Here's what we have. That took a lot longer than I thought. That was a lot harder than I thought it was gonna be. I'm not gonna lie, I still have the sleeves to go, but there's not that much of the color I need in them, so I'm just gonna, we're gonna do that later. We're gonna start with what we have. I hate unwinding things. That took forever. It took the soul out of my body, but I was trying to use a yarn winder and I got a little bit, but here's what we're working with. I'm gonna do a swatch. You know what? I don't have that much of this yarn, so I'm gonna do a swatch in this other color, which is the same yarn. It's just a different shade. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. Hang on. That's better. Will to live restored. So I've got a couple needle sizes here. I think I'm gonna go with 4.5. That feels right. I don't have the label for this yarn anymore, so I don't know what it recommends, but I know I was doing that Esther sweater on 5.5 and it was too big. I think I'm gonna do half fisherman's rib, half brioche, because I think that's gonna be the closest to the picture that I want to copy. So I'm gonna do a little swatch. Let's see how she turns out. Okay, so I've got my little swatches here. The first one is half fisherman's rib or half brioche. I think the original that I'm trying to replicate is just 1x1 ribbing, but I like how this looks a lot better. And I want to go for that kind of boxy fit. I don't want it to be puckered in or like fitted like this shirt, for example. So I think this fabric will lay flatter, looser. Just to test it out, I also did, this one's a broken rib, and then this one's just 1x1 ribbing. But I don't think, maybe the broken rib looks okay. But I kind of like the half fisherman's better. The thing is, I don't have that much of this yarn, and half fisherman's rib, you kind of end up working 2 rows for every one, because on the one side you slip. So the row gauge is a lot, it takes a lot more rows to build up the same length of garment. So I think my plan is I'm gonna start top down. I think I'm gonna do the Judy's Magic cast on and start up here at the top of my sleeves or my straps. And then I'm gonna work down, and then that way I can gauge if I'm running out of yarn too quickly, and then either make the body cropped or redo it and go back to broken rib. I think that's my plan. I really like how this looks. So I'm gonna unwind this guy, I think, because I don't know, I like the broken rib. I feel like I've done broken rib quite a bit in recent patterns, or like swapped it in for just a 1x1 rib, because I think it looks interesting and fun. I think it adds a little bit more texture, but like I just said, I think I want the fabric structure of the fisherman's rib. So let's see what we can do here. Okay, so I've started with the straps for the shoulders. I think I'm gonna do, let's see. Oh yeah, that's good. So I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna come out and kind of create a V shape. So I stuck with that half fisherman's rib. I think the structure is gonna be really nice. And then I'm gonna try to do it so that I don't have to pick up stitches on the side here. So I'm just doing like 1 salvage stitch on each side, because I don't really want this to be any thicker than it needs to be. And if I have to, maybe I'll weave some elastic into the back, but I'm hoping we won't have to do that. I started one other that's like 2 stitches thicker, I think, and that just felt a little bit too wide. So I'm down to a couple less stitches. This is maybe like 1.5 inches. But I think we're off to a good start. I got hair all over everything. So my plan as of now is to increase here to create like a V shape, and then pick these stitches back up and do the same thing in the back. So I'll have kind of like a V-neck in the front and the back. I think I'm just gonna do the same thing on both sides. I might add a little bit more like cup shaping on the front, but I'm not sure how far we're gonna go with that. So here's my update. Not bad though. I've restarted 3 times because I wanted to make sure that it was symmetrical. So I had a knit stitch on both ends. It doesn't quite look symmetrical because the one side's folding in a little bit, but you can kind of see it there. And then I think I'm gonna increase around this center stitch. Yeah, pleased with it. Okay, check back in when we've made some more progress. Okay, so we're making some good progress. I've gained a cat on my lap, so I'm trying not to move too much. I've got the first half of a front section done, so it's gonna go kind of like that. I'm gonna do exactly the same shape again, and then have them come down to attach here together, and then work down like that from the front. So hopefully I won't have to go back and add any edging or I-cord or anything, but we'll see how that looks after it has a little bit more weight of fabric pulling on it. But I really like it. I think it's turning out cool. I think it looks a lot like what I'm going for, so I'm counting it as a win so far. Stay tuned. All right, so I just joined my front pieces together. Here's how we're looking. It's bending a little bit. But I think this is gonna be a good neckline. So I wanted it to be kind of a V-neck, but it looks kind of like a bathing suit right now. So I'm gonna work on the back sections next, I think. And then the plan is we're gonna join in the round front to back, maybe cast on a couple stitches for under the arm, and then switch to working in the round for the body. But I think this is looking really good. I had to cast on a stitch in the center here to keep everything lining up with the stitch pattern. So I might end up doing something along the collar edge, but I don't know. I feel like it still looks pretty clean. We'll see. We'll see. I might just do a couple stitches to reinforce it there. But this is where we're at. I think it's looking really good. Yay! Hi friends, we're back. It's the next day. I just wanted to check in and show you my progress. So we've actually made some decent progress here. This is what we've got so far. That's the back, and then here's the front. So I just joined everything in the round. I'm trying to hold it up and give you a view of it here. Actually, I'm gonna show you the back because I think it's a little bit easier to see the shaping. So I did the same shaping on the front and the back, cast on a couple stitches for an armhole in between here. OMG, my cat's scratching on the chair where I've propped up my phone. Peep the other cat. This is Olive. She's only friendly when you pat her when she's asleep. Okay, so I did the same shaping on the front and the back panels, but then I made this little strap section a little bit shorter on the back. So in theory, sorry, it's on, there we go. So in theory, the back will be a little bit higher up than the front, just in case it sags from wearing it. I know sometimes when you knit straps, they can kind of relax a little bit too much. So I just wanted to have a little bit of give in case that's the case when we block it, so the V-neck isn't too low in the front. But I really love how this stitch pattern is turning out. I stuck with the half fisherman's, half brioche, and this cotton blend, I feel like the stitch looks so clean. So I'm really pleased with how this is looking. I cast on a few stitches in between to create a little armhole gap. And then when I closed everything together, I think this was about 9.5 inches. So I think everything's on track. I'm just trying to hold it up and see how long it's gonna be without dropping everything here. So I think it should fit. My goal was to have the V-neck be about the length of this shirt that I have on now. So I feel like we're on track for that. Here is the amount of yarn I have left. So I know I had 2 skeins worth. I think this is probably about 1 skein. I still haven't unraveled those sleeves, so I have a little bit more to go. But my plan right now is I think I'm gonna do a cropped body. I think because of how structured this stitch is and how I don't want it to be too form-fitting, I think it'll look good if I crop it maybe in like 6 or 8 inches, I wanna say. I'm kind of going for like that long line bralette type fit because I'm 5'3". So if I wear a cropped shirt and high-waisted jeans, they're touching, like it's full length. So I think that's about the length I'm gonna go. But just wanted to show you how we're doing. I'm actually really pleased. I think the increase looks really good. I did brioche specific increases. So since the stitch pattern alternates obviously between a knit column and then the broken purl column, when you're increasing in the brioche pattern, you actually increase 2 stitches at a time. So each of the increase rows, I actually increased 4 stitches to kind of maintain that pattern column. So I was worried that it was going to increase too fast, but I feel like it just ended up a good triangular shape. So that's pretty much where we're at now. I'm just gonna see how fast I can crank out the body. I'm going on vacation in a couple of days, so I'm hoping I can get it done. Today's Wednesday. Hopefully I can get the body all done either today or tomorrow so I can block it on Friday and pack it on Saturday. Stay tuned, because I feel like this would be such a good like beach fit with a long white skirt with linen pants. OMG, said it before, I'll say it again. It's so Mamma Mia. Love it. I feel like it looks a little silly right now. I was knitting on it at a cafe and I hadn't joined the back, I had joined the front, so it looked like I was knitting like the world's skimpiest bra. And a group of older gentlemen walked by, and one of them was just like openly staring at my essentially pink knitted bra sitting on the table like it was just this. And then I was working on the straps and I was like, sorry, sir. I don't know what to tell you. So that's our update. I have to take advantage of the moments where she's being friendly because it's like few and far in between. Look, she laid her little head down. I'm such a sucker. I did not used to be a cat person, and then I moved in with my partner who already had cats, and now I like them. And it's a tough pill for me to swallow. I was a dog girly. I still am. I have a plan where I want to get a wiener dog, like one of those dachshunds, and I want to name it Chili, like chili dog, like chili hot dog. Isn't it perfection? But also, we live in an apartment that has a 2-pet limit and we have 2 cats. And also, I do not have a work schedule that can accommodate me having a dog at all, remotely. Like, I would feel so bad. So I don't think it's in the cards for right now, but at some point in my life, we will make a video about me knitting a sweater for Chili, because wouldn't that be so fun? You could basically knit like a tube with little holes in it for the legs. Has this turned into a knit and chat? Maybe it has. Actually, I also wanted to mention, so there's 2 ways you can knit brioche. You can either knit, the way I'm doing it, let me try and show you. I'm doing it by every other row yarning over. So now we're in the round. If you're knitting it flat, this would be on the wrong side, and then the right side is just a knit row. But you yarn over, slip the knit column, and then purl the broken rib column. And then you can see I just yarned over and slipped, and then I'll purl this next one. The alternative is, if I had just knit this row before, instead of doing a yarn over like this, you knit down into a stitch below. So it would be like, instead of knitting into here, I would skip that and knit into this space and let that stitch fall off. From what I've done, I've compared swatches of the 2, and at least at the gauge I'm knitting them, they look really similar. So I'm curious if, I know there are a lot of people who've done way more brioche than me, and like 2-color brioche and all that. So I'm just curious if you guys have a preferred method of doing that, because I knitted, it was the Lanark sweater by the Crayabea. Maybe a year and a half ago, I did it as a test knit for her when that pattern was first coming out. And the whole sweater is half brioche, which it's so pretty, and it just took so long because it's really tiny gauge. And so the sweater looks really pretty, so it's totally worth it, but it took forever. So there was a lot of time for us to talk in the group chat about what kind of method people were using, and it was pretty split, honestly. And a couple people said that they had noticeable differences in gauge when they were switching from working half brioche flat versus switching to working in the round. So I'm just curious if you guys have noticed anything about that. I don't really see a difference in mine. I would have switched to the round maybe like 4 or 5 rows ago, and I think my gauge looks pretty consistent. When I did that Lanark sweater, I don't think I really had any noticeable differences in gauge there either. So who can say? But just curious. Comment down below if you have a preference between the two because I'm sure people have very strong opinions about it. But okay, that's all I have for our update. I say as I've just yapped for 10 minutes. I'm going to go back to working on the body. I've got my little almond milk matcha going here. I will let you know if we get it done in time for vacation. Okay, we're back for the final update. I'm really pleased with how this has turned out. I can't wait to show you guys. So, I literally just cast off, so it's not blocked or anything. Here is our final product. I think it's gonna look so good. I've tried it on a couple times. So what I've done since we last spoke is the rest of the body, front, back, and then on the sides of the body, I added just a little bit of shaping. So it's bubbling out just a little because it has been blocked, but here at the bottom, you can kind of see the decreases. So I decreased in pattern, which when you're working in half brioche, similar to the increase, the way you have to increase 2 stitches at a time, you have to decrease 2 stitches at a time. So I only did 2 decrease rows. I did 1 in the stitch pattern and then 1 when I switched to ribbing at the bottom. I switched to ribbing at the bottom for just a few rows, probably, oh, it's so covered in hair, probably about an inch or so, just to kind of cinch the bottom in. And then I was thinking about doing an Italian bind off, but I didn't have it in me, A, and B, I kind of wanted that look that you get from the, I think it's called a surprisingly stretchy bind off. I really like when you have the vertical ribbing and then a nice crisp horizontal bind off line on the bottom. So I'm gonna block it, I'm gonna try it on, and then if it's just not as stretchy as the Italian bind off. So if it's not giving enough, it's not stretchy enough, I might undo that and then do an Italian bind off. Sorry, I'm distracted by my cat in the background because every time she makes a sound, I assume that she's eating like a piece of stray plastic that she found. So when she's just minding her business, I'm like, ooh, still suspicious. But I'm really happy with how this turned out. I think I might make a couple tweaks and then turn this into an actual pattern. So let me know if you'd like to knit this too. If you have color ideas, inspiration. I think like white with navy blue stripes would be super chic for summer. So I feel like this is kind of outside the box of what I normally knit. Like a worsted weight summer top is not usually on my list, but I'm actually really pleased. I'm so excited. I gotta go weave in some ends, gonna give this guy a block, but I'm really happy how this turned out. That's pretty much it. To be honest, I am shocked that this was this successful. It's been 3 days, today's day 3. So this knit up super quickly, honestly. I really like how the stitch pattern looks too. Oh, and those clean increase details. Wow, good stuff, good stuff. Thank you for following along. Stay tuned to see if I make it a pattern. And I think that's all for now. I'm about to go on vacation, so I'm really excited to have gotten this done in time. Peace out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.